lovely people, and a very warm welcome to another tutorial with me, Lisa Taggart. This week I'm going to go on an adventure of my own, and I'm doing this pastel piece on pastel board. It uses Lavinia stamps and my own drawings, and a bit of a combination. It's called The Witch's Apprentice, so let's look at the materials. This is the pastel mat I'm using this week, and it has a bit of a grip. It's lightly sanded. It allows you to build up the layers of the pastels. So there's the weight of it and the dimensions, etc. Any good pastel mat would do, of course. I'm also using my Faber Castell Pastel pencils this week, and I just gave you a screenshot of the numbers, which you could freeze and look at later on. I'll put them in the description box below as well. These are the pan pastels that I've selected. I've swatched them out, and I'll give you also the details. Starting from the right, we've Hansa Yellow Extra Dark, we've Permanent Green, Chrom Oxide Green, Bright Yellow Green, Chrom Oxide Green Tint, Turquoise Shade, Phthelo Blue Tint, Ultramarine Extra Dark, Ultramarine Blue, Violet, Black, Raw Umber, Yellow Ocher, Diorylite Yellow Extra Dark, Grey, hansa Yellow, Permanent Red, Magenta, Magenta Extra Dark, Titanium White and Turquoise. On then we have the VersaFine Clair and Nocturne for stamping, the applicators for the pastels, a pencil for some drawing, and this plastic eraser for removing any little mistakes, and which I have usually. We're using the top half of this beautiful toadstool, the forest cap, and we have the Hobbit Home in large. I'm going to use that with the little path, the creeping vine and Penelope, and I'm going to adjust the stamps and add to them with drawing, etc. So to convert all of that into something that looks a little bit like this, just keep on watching. We're starting off with 7.5 by 9.5 inches for the pastel board. It's not really board, it's really just cardstock, 300 GSM. I'm going to adjust some of these little stamps and then, as I say, just add to them with some hand drawing. So I've removed a little bit there in the right hand side to draw a little window, and some of the foliage at the top I've taken away because I had the idea of putting the toadstool as a little roof coming out. Now the path, that I'm using this as the main sort of structure, and then I'm going to add a few paved stones to it and just tinker with it a little bit. I'm rubbing away the underneath part of this stamp. As I say, I'm only using the top half, and then I'll draw some underneath to give it more dimension. So I'm just going to draw the tree freehand and a few bits and bobs just to give me an idea where to put the different colours. And I'm going to begin with the pan pastels, and I'm going to use them as a very rough base layer, so they're not going to look very pretty at the start. The idea is to add in the darks first of all and build up the colours gradually. This is quite different from my usual process, where it's usually the opposite to that, using the watercolours and the pastels. So it's interesting, and I'm often asked about the different medium that you use with pastels in terms of the substrate, and really and truly the sanded pastel paper is the best thing if you're solely using pastels. So I thought I would give it a go and just do a little scene and adjust the stamps slightly, which of course you can do as tools. You can be creative with your stamps as well. And so I'm making a few adjustments, adding a little window to the centre of the door and an extra window at the side, and sort of building up the shape of a little hobbit house, or in this case it's the Witch's Apprentice's little house. And so I'm going to do the tree sloping off to the side, and I'm going to draw a chimney for the smoke to come out, and just a nice grassy couple of banks at the front with the usual dotty flowers, which I like to do. So I hope you enjoy the video. It is a little bit different this week, and I hope you're not bored by the same medium being used, but I think I am a pastel artist at heart, so I hope you forgive me. So enjoy the video, and I'll talk to you later. So that's the drawing complete. I hope you had a chance maybe to take a screenshot, and here are the pastels. I think I added turquoise in the end to the bottom of that, and I do have the swatches available if you need to see those, and the description of the colours will be in the description box underneath. So as I say, I'm going to start with the dark colours first of all. It is rather difficult to keep everything in shot, particularly zooming in enough so you can see what I'm doing. So the top row and half has been cut off. So when I come to use that top section, I'll insert it underneath so you can at least see it's essentially the greens that have been cut off. So I'm not going to go through each and every colour. I think you can hopefully, when you've got the description, guess which one it is and work that way. And as I say, it's not going to be very pretty. It is going to be very bold and sort of just laying down a base colours to build on. And the good thing about the pastel card with the slightly textured surface is that you can build up the layers in a much easier way than you can on watercolour paper. And I usually only use the pastels on watercolour card after I've built up a watercolour layer, something for it to attach to. So using this is completely different, and of course it is made for the pastels, and it means you can have much more fun building up the layers. So just off camera, I added a light layer in the background there of Chrom oxide green tint. So it's a very, very pale green, and it's that pale colour at the top of your screen, just in from the white, and it's a very, very light colour. And I just have that as a very sort of hazy base, and I'm now building that up with sort of the pale blue and the ultramarine blue as well. So stage one complete with the pan pastels, and now I'm taking my pencils to do the refinement of the painting. And this is the fun part for me, really, is to get into the really intricate little details and emphasize what I've already laid down as a basic base. So I'm using the dark colours again just to refine the different components of the little house, and then I'm going to sort of essentially colour them in and hopefully bring them to life. So I hope you enjoy this part of the video and that you can see the colours roughly coming out of the pencil without knowing exactly what colour they are. I've just put in orange and a purple, and I'm going on now to like a dark magenta. But if you are doing your own version, of course, just use what you have. What you have available will be fine. A few nice bright colours with black and white, etc. And you'd be amazed what you can achieve. So friends, that just about wraps it up for this week. As you can see, I have darkened the little Penelope, adding some darkness to her dress and her hat and her boots, and lightened up her little lamp and her face, and a little bit of yellow underneath for reflection. And here's the little details up close, and I think the ivy worked out really well, and it's a lovely stamp to use loosely like that, and just adding in lots of different colours. Not every tree trunk is brown, so purples, blues and greys sometimes work just as well, and your eye does the mixing of the colour. So I hope you enjoyed this week's project, and if you're not subscribed, it's free to do so. I'd really love it if you would consider hitting the subscribe button, and also the like one, the share, leave a comment and all that stuff. I offer YouTube memberships, so check that out in the description box below. But until next time, take really good care of yourselves, and above all, get creating, be brave, and do enjoy your creative adventure.